All right, I call the meeting to order. May 16th, 2019, Northwood School Board meeting. We'll start off with a roll call. Keith McGuigan here. Shane Wells.
Yeah.
Amy Henneman.
Here.
Brian Winslow is absent today.
This is nice.
Stephanie Arroyo.
Here.
Yeah, happy birthday to Mr. Winslow. Enjoy your day off. We'll go around, start.
Let's assign him to a committee.
All right. Good.
Can we have him do?
We'll start around and introduce everybody. Please introduce themselves.
Adrian Alford, Assistant Principal.
Jocelyn Young, Principal.
Jeez. It's an echo.
Mr. O'Sullivan.
Bob is all present.
Scott Rooney, Superintendent.
Ginger Joe, Secretary.
And we know you too. All right, Ms. Young, would you honor us with leading the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
I can't wait to hear this.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, our bills and manifests are going around to be signed over here. Cool. Unfortunately, our Co-Brown student representative was not able to make it tonight, but she did briefly send a report via email. It sounds like not a whole lot's going on at Co-Brown right now, which is
Right, they're all getting
understandable.
ready to set up, but I will let you know that we're excited for Brianna. She's being inducted into
ITS?
ITS tonight, and then next month, she'll actually be in France during the meeting. So I just wrote her back. I said, the board will have no problem with this. How exciting for you.
Yeah. For agenda adjustments, we are going to bring forward some of the stuff from the superintendent's report to the business administrator's report, so we can kind of front load that and then let him go home. So we'll move up the food service agreement and the paving quotes to part B, if that's okay with everybody. Yes, you okay with that, Mr. Willis? All right, I think we do have to have a brief non-public session at the beginning here. I believe so. I'll make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91-A:3, Part 2, A and C.
Second.
All right, we'll have to roll call in. Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. McGuigan, yes? Yes. All right, so let's, we're going non-public, so sorry, we'll have to keep you guys out for a little bit. We'll be brief. I'm going to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public meeting indefinitely.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor? The minutes are sealed. Thank you. Okay. Moving on. My apologies, but now to kick you guys out, but now you can come yell at me if you want, because it's open to public comment.
Sharon Ford. I just wanted to thank, am I on? Yes, I did.
Lights on.
You're on.
It's cold in here. It's fine for a
I was
little
actually
while.
feeling good.
That's good.
Okay. And there was a red light on.
I hear you. It's on.
Just go ahead and.
All right, I'm nice and loud, I'm used to it. Thank you for your support for, now I'm back up. For Drama Club. This year we did it on Friday, Saturday night. It was awesome. We had a great turnout. We probably had close to 300 people between the two nights. So everyone was happy, and so I just wanted to thank you for that. We have a lot of new interests, so I think I'll have even a bigger size group next year, because I have had kids coming up to me all this week wanting to know when they can sign up for next year already. So I just wanted to thank you, and I'll have all kinds of ideas ready for you for next year, just to how to improve and make it better. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? You've reconfigured. Any board member want to take this opportunity to address the board? All right, I'll close the public comment session then, and we'll move on to our consent agenda. In our packet, starting on page 4, we have the board minutes, the public and non-public board minutes from May 2nd, and the enrollment report.
Motion to approve the public and non-public
I
minutes.
just approved the consent agenda.
Oh, I thought we, yeah,
That's fine, it's all on the consent agenda, we can do it all at once, that's
Second?
Any discussion on that? Modifications, changes? All right, all in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, we'll move on to the business administrator's report. Mr. O'Sullivan.
So there are going to be several things that I'm going to combine in this, but I'll start with the financial reports that I typically give out each month. And I can't report that there's much different from the last month in discussion to this month, so I'm not going to bore you with the details. You have $557,000 when I wrote the report in your general fund balance, and you're doing wonderfully. I also have included your CIP, capital improvement plan, so that if you do consider any spending from that fund, you have a sense of the things that you had in your plan for 2019. Also, you have some unanticipated income, and this is where I'll spend a little bit of time, and I think Superintendent Rooney may have alluded to this in previous meetings, but you received $2,300 for the tractor that was sold, and that comes in as unanticipated revenue. Well, we are getting religion about unanticipated revenue in our office. Our attorney has assisted us with this, but it falls into something called RSA 19820B. And this is something that is part of your permanent record. A previous board in Northwood voted on this, or the town actually voted on it, and it's something that allows the board to accept unanticipated revenue. It's not quite as simple as that, however, it turns out, and this is where we have probably not been doing things correctly in the recent past and maybe even years prior, or maybe ever.
No.
Okay.
This board knows how to accept unanticipated revenue
Okay.
under $5,000.
Fine.
They've been doing it
So-
for a long time.
Fine. So we have to have the board take a vote to accept the $2,500, I think it is. And have those recorded in the minutes, and then everything is fine.
Okay, yeah, we've done that for other things.
All right.
Yeah.
The change here is that if they, moving forward, if the donation or unanticipated revenue is over $5,000, we need to post a public hearing and notice the voters 7 days before, so we can accept that revenue. So for this year, you do have a correction to do. And so what I will do is put that on a future agenda, maybe the next meeting, schedule a public hearing, and then have you formally accept the SAU surplus return.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's the only thing you really need to correct, is to have that public hearing and then vote to accept that money.
So could we arrange for that for the meeting we're having on the 30th? Because I expect that it wouldn't take long, the public hearing.
What day of the week is the 30th?
Thursday, it's 2 weeks from now.
Sure. So,
And then maybe we can do that in the beginning and then do our goals, because we already have a meeting scheduled for goals for that.
yep, and that's just how you know, that's the only,
Now, this is for the SAU,
It's $46,827.20.
Yeah.
so what about the kindergarten, I mean, the preschool
No.
funds?
if they vote to return, we didn't vote to return any this year. Yeah.
From last year.
Yeah, I don't think
Last year, we should have voted for it.
Right, that was a different regime. and that's already cashed, that's already gone and
Okay.
dispersed, right? So, there's some other information about anticipated and unanticipated revenue that we'll give you as it comes up, but, what's the definition, how does it work, and this and that, and we got a pretty good handle on that, so we're not gonna bore you with that tonight. But, I am gonna schedule a public hearing for the purpose of accepting unanticipated revenue.
So someone had pointed me at, no, they didn't point me at the law, I just heard secondhand, I guess, that in order to have a public meeting, I'm sorry, a public hearing, you needed to post it in 2 different places and in a printed
You
publication.
need to post it in your usual places, right?
Which
And you
won't be a
need to
problem.
post in the newspaper.
We don't have a newspaper,
Exactly.
so
I mean, what,
would the form qualify for that? It's not a printed newspaper, but. It's okay.
well, I would argue that, so, yeah, yeah.
What did the
So-
lawyer say?
Our lawyer,
No.
I did say, well, we don't have a newspaper. So are you covered, is this area covered by the Monitor? Is it covered by Foster's?
It is, Monitor comes out here.
Really?
Yeah, you can get it
Depends on
delivered.
which part of town you live in.
I used to deliver the Monitor here.
Oh, yeah,
Some people get the Monitor down the east end of town, they'll go with Foster's, the west end of town,
but does that mean it's covering the town?
the
No, I
Gulf
mean,
area.
just because it's delivered to town. You can get the Boston Globe delivered here, it doesn't mean you're
True.
Yeah.
covered
well,
by the
you-
Boston Globe.
I mean, you don't have a lot of feasible options.
Union leader, maybe, or something. So should we, oh, sorry, what are you guys planning on doing?
We text the Concord Monitor.
Are you just putting,
They were
Closest,
less expensive.
yeah, yeah.
They were $160.
yeah. Yeah,
So I would consider doing that for our
For our-
posting as well.
I can do that.
Public notice, you have to pay for public notice.
Oh, yes. Yep,
I think it was it,
$60 per?
that's cheap.
160.
Jeez.
Foster's is more.
all right, so to cover our bases, let's do that.
Yep.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
So we'll post it in the usual places, we'll post it in the Monitor, and we'll post it in the forum electronically. There's some debate about that, lawyers have different, my lawyer says something else.
Yeah.
So we'll do that for the 30th as part of your work session.
Okay.
And,
So it's gonna be it'll be a work session, so you have to,
Maybe
you
change
probably haven't
our
posted
site.
that yet anyway, right? So
it's posted.
it is, so I'll just repost.
Yeah, I'll just repost it.
Okay.
No problem.
Public hearing to accept funds.
Yep.
So do we still need a motion to accept the 2500?
Yeah, that's under 5,000.
So, want me to make a motion to accept the unanticipated revenue of $2,500 for selling the tractor?
Was it 25 or 23?
I believe it's 25.
25, okay, I'm not sure I heard you then.
Second?
Any discussion on that?
I think it was on your last page.
It is
Yeah.
25.
25.
25, all right, all in favor? All right, we'll accept money, of course we will. I don't know what would happen to it if we didn't accept it.
Well, thank you,
I don't
because we
know.
already booked it.
Yeah.
So,
And also, and I thank you for moving it up, the food service agreement, you're in the last year of this agreement, and it's basically a rollover of the previous agreement, a little bit of updated costs. They're estimating the cost to be about $120,445. The DOE Nutrition Services has approved this contract. It cannot be changed because that's just the rules of the game with DOE. And it's ready for approval by the board, and then upon your approval, then we will have this thing executed so that Fresh Bits will serve one more year, and then we'll bid this out again, assuming you want to continue. I have done some homework, which I won't dwell on today, to give you sort of a historical perspective of when the school was running food service, how it's done under Fresh Picks, and, because I think it's something that you should at least have some sense
Is
of.
that something you have tonight, or something you would have?
Well, I've done
Next
it,
year?
but I prefer to have it as part of an agenda and not
Okay.
surprise my boss.
Right, I need to review it first, so.
Okay.
Put it in the packet.
I mean, It's
so-
probably not gonna change the board's decision as far as signing the contract, though. I mean, that'd be for moving forward
Yeah,
in the
this is your
future.
last year.
Right.
so. That is different from the one in your packet. We got the electronic version from Fresh Picks, filed it with the state, and then when I was looking through the packet today, there is a PDF error where some of it is whited out. So we got in touch with, and in our screens, it looks whole, and then when we printed it isn't. So we had Fresh Picks fix that and printed new ones out to bring you tonight.
So at the last meeting, we had some concerns about, what was his name that works here?
That's a non-public issue.
Yeah. So, and then that was, did we find an answer? Did we talk to those people? You-
I don't-
I wasn't at your last meeting. I know there were some issues, but this conversation probably shouldn't happen in public.
Can I clarify a quick point, the amount again
Amount
for
for
the
what?
contract?
Was $120,445. And the costs are broken out in their,
Can you say that again?
Seeing something different.
$120,445.
So why is that different than what's on the last page of the
Right.
contract?
I believe that's. the number.
120,445?
We got 118,629.
I have 120,445
Me too.
Yeah, that'll be 130. What?
on the food service.
120,445.
Right here.
In the packet or in the one that was handed out?
Well, I believe it should be in both, but
That's
The one that was
different.
handed out.
So the ones they sent up, no, it's different. Let me have that.
The bottom line's different.
Oh, I know, but what's in the, this is different.
Deprecation.
Labor cost.
And deprecation is deprecation. of-
Depreciation.
No, not depreciation. Yeah. Yeah, labor costs that's about $3,000, which would cover that. 125. The paper supplies is off too. So
Here's the thing.
that's what you brought. Is that what was in our package?
Wait a
too?
minute, I'm pulling that right now. Just give me a second.
Page 92.
Thank you.
Yeah, just want to be sure I have the correct.
Yeah, yeah.
one in here.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna vote on it.
I know what happened. When they sent us the updated contract, they didn't send an updated contract. They sent an old one.
all right,
So,
I'll get it updated.
right, well, I mean, I think the board needs to go off the one in the packet on page 92
So it is 124,45.
and just understand that on page well, on one of the pages in here is the error, so,
You're looking at the packet, you can't have it, it's the last page.
Yeah, no, we're-
it's no one looking for.
Oh, here it is, on page 66.
Right, you see the whiteout? That was a PDF error.
Yeah.
So when we called them to have it reprinted, they sent us what looks like an old one,
So under
based on the numbers.
213. But this is, otherwise, other than the numbers, is
Yeah.
the same contract
Yeah.
that we've had for the past
Yep,
3 years or whatever, right?
correct.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. All right. So, I know in this contract, we have recommended lunch prices, which are,
Well, the prices are basically set by USDA.
Got a calculator.
so that'd be, but right now, Or
They'll
we
be,
have
they'll
different
be
prices, right?
updated as soon as we have all that information.
Typically, we set our lunch prices separately, right, in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, because we just raised it to
Summer.
230.
Right.
This is their proposed.
Okay.
Right, so somebody needs to go into the lunch calculator and enter that, remember that whole
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So, I just want to make sure when we're
And we need to
approving,
make sure that they're actually charging what
Oh,
they're
yeah,
supposed to
right.
charge and not sit on it for 3 months before they realize they weren't charging what they were supposed to.
so I just wanted to verify that if we can approve this contract.
Second?
We can approve this contract, but we're not actually approving the increase to the lunch price right now.
right, that's their
Right.
proposed.
This is, but however, if we do change the lunch prices, the bottom line will likely change by the revenue will change, obviously, right?
Right.
So, okay,
I wouldn't expect they're going to go down.
right. All right, so we probably need a motion to approve the contract then for the amount of, total cost of 124,445. Cost to the district 14,157.
Minus.
Cost of the district 14,157. We're not getting money back.
Right,
Yeah, so that is the cost to the district.
yep.
Words are hard. What's that?
Can we do so moved?
Sure.
It's easier than repeating all
Moved.
that.
I'll second that then. And we moved it. And we moved it. All right, any discussion on this?
Be non-public.
Do you want to wait to
Do you wanna
approve the
wait?
contract till after, or are we gonna have a non-public at the end of the meeting then?
I would like to, have a non-public and have that history.
I don't have the history with me
So,
right now.
which would be agenda item, you said later on. When does this have to be approved by?
I don't think it has to be approved tonight, but, so,
Okay. Our next regular meeting is June 6th. Do you anticipate that that would
could
be
be
fine to do at that point? And then perhaps we can get the,
Yeah, and then you can
History.
verify, you can talk with them about the difference.
right.
We can do that, and then when you,
You can go ahead and non-public at the end?
we could do that too, but.
yeah, yeah, but you're not gonna get your history
No.
until
we can
I,
wait.
you're not gonna get that
We can
until
wait
I
till
look
June
at it.
6th too, either way. I'm
Okay.
flexible.
So,
But we can have a conversation about the other.
Mr. Wells, are you making a proposal to table this motion for now?
Please.
Second on that, all right, so is everybody okay with tabling this? All right, we're gonna table this until, we'll put it back on our agenda for June 6th.
There's the one that's in the packet.
So we'll get an updated, corrected contract, history, and the business office will bring us forward with a history of cost of the district over time, right? We clear on that? Good, okay. Okay, the other thing we had moved up was paving quotes.
So over the years, we've gotten different paving quotes. We put in the ones that we had, but Ms. Young has an updated quote.
All those quotes in our packet were from 2015 or earlier? Okay. yeah. They looked like that, I was just making sure. I'd seen them before.
Can I
So did we did put out a request for proposal, right? For paving?
Not this year.
No?
Do not this year. You didn't ask for one?
We talked about it a little bit at last meeting, but we thought it was premature, seeing that we, we thought it was
weren't sure if we
premature.
were doing it,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because we didn't decide to actually go ahead and get it, vote on to pave it, so we didn't want to put out a RFP.
So where did this come from then? Did we just reach out to the Road One? and
It had come up at a facilities meeting, and so Mr. Tom reached out to Road One
Okay,
Paving
okay.
directly.
Gotcha. And they were the ones that did do the entranceway near the fire station, right?
Correct.
Is there anybody happy with that? I'm just curious. Seems.
Buses don't bottom out anymore.
Yeah, all right, I just wanted, no problems there.
So if we're looking at prices, and I know in the last 3 years, some of these are that old, some are 2015.
Right.
They went up like $500. I can understand that. I'm not saying that's wrong.
Right.
But I would like to see if we can put an RFP out. Well, let's vote and see if we can
Right.
go ahead for it and then put some RFPs out.
Totally agree, yeah.
When are you thinking about paying for this?
We're not paying for things. Well, right, if we wanted to use, so that's the other thing is, there are a couple different ways we could do this. We could pay for it out of the unanticipated surplus funds, in which case we have to get all this done by June 30th. We need to get started on it, right?
No, you should have your expenses done in early June, so your
Right.
invoices come in
So-
early July.
So another possibility that, Mr. Winslow actually sent me an email about some of the things he couldn't make tonight, and he had some opinions that he wanted to share, was that he was thinking that we could use the money from the capital reserve fund to use the paving instead of from the surplus. In fact, he was more in favor of using that from there instead of surplus money to do it, which isn't a bad idea in my opinion either. If we do that, I think it kind of opens us up. Our
You get some
time,
flexibility.
yeah, right, because we can spend that
Yep.
as needed. And so I don't know what the board thinks of that.
I'm fine with that.
I'd lean towards that. If that, we can put out our RFP and get all our bids, take our time, and still hopefully get it started over the summer. It'll still be great to do, obviously, but we should have plenty of time over the summer to do that, right? That sound good? So is that what we want to do then? Put out the RFP? We'll plan on paying with this out of our capital reserve fund, our capital improvement capital reserve fund.
Yeah.
And that's got what, 100,000 in it?
I think it's got like 110,000, because we put some extra money in anticipation of using it for the building and other things that we never did. So it makes sense to maybe spend some of that.
It's what it's there for.
Right.
So as we prepare the RFP, is the scope of work simply going to be the front parking lot?
Well, that's a good question. Is there more that needs to be done?
At this point right now, if you look at the CIP,
Yep.
there's also paving of the court, the basketball court. So that's 31,000 in 2020. So, and we already paved the back a while back, so we're good there. So the front and the basketball court's only two things.
So I mean, it's 2019, right? So that's in the CIP for next year, not this year, right?
Well, the paving is in the CIP
For next year.
well, actually, it's in 2019.
The front, paving the front
Right.
is for
What
this
about the
year.
basketball?
The basketball court's
Well, it's for, yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
But maybe it's worth looking into if they can do, I mean, maybe if there's some cost
All
savings
right,
in doing them together,
We'll
right?
get broken out bids for both chunks.
Okay.
Front parking lot, basketball court.
Good idea.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that if there's some savings. I mean, which I would think there
What do you
would
think?
be.
It's your neighborhood, your neighbor gets paid, they come over, they give you a deal?
Right.
He does it.
I believe this company.
That's exactly
I
where I'm
believe this
going.
company did that. by
Yeah,
that
right,
way.
I'm sure.
Right, right,
Pretty frequent.
right. I mean, the two together is a big chunk. I mean, if we're looking at, it's
You
double
also-
the cost really to do both, so.
I also just want to caution the board that your modification
Yes,
has been substantially approved. I'm waiting to hear from one person.
the grant, you're saying?
So I'm going to have to, next year, find $12,000 to cover the 20% of that. So that's good news, and sort
Yeah.
of, there's a consequence, so just keep aware of that.
Yep. I think we'd still be in good shape in our reserve.
Yeah,
fund, though.
yeah. And plus, you have two funds. You have a building and grounds fund with about $20,000 in it, and then you have your other fund. And your paving could probably be covered out, a portion of that if you needed to,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So,
Okay, so RFP's going out.
We'll get that done.
We'll anticipate spending out of the reserve funds for it.
Do we need a motion for that?
I don't think so, but.
No.
Unanimous
Wrote it.
consent?
We both wrote it down. I think you're good.
Yep. Okay. Anything else on paving? We all happy here?
Can I pave my driveway too?
No. Too far away.
It is pretty far away.
While you're here and we're talking about capital reserve funds, I do remember at one point we had found a capital reserve fund, which we never, I believe you did a bunch of research trying to figure out, it was kind of a mystery fund that had a little bit of money in it, and we couldn't figure out where it came from or what it was for. Is there any update on that?
Let me get that to the superintendent. I just received, early this afternoon, because I had been requesting from the town office, an update on the capital reserve funds. So I will provide that to you, Superintendent, and it's as of the end of the first quarter, so it's, but, you know, haven't done any spending, so it'll be
Yeah.
dollars more, not
And I
much.
remember investigating it. I remember sitting there with Mrs. Coburn, and we figured out what it was, but it's been like 4 months, 6 months, 8 months now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I got to refresh.
So if the board's in agreement, could we maybe just get a listing of the capital reserve funds and their
I'll get that.
balances and
I'll
stuff
get
for
We're
that.
gonna
our
get,
next meeting?
right, so what you need to understand is, it'll be a little confusing because the report from the trustees of the trust fund has all the accounts.
Well, they're actually broken out this time.
They're-
into
ooh.
the- Yeah, they actually have a little section on, it's the school.
Good, we can do that
I
then.
can talk to one of those guys too. I know, I can
Yeah,
get some.
yeah.
We know
It's been a little tough to pick apart in the past, but if they've split it up, that's a
They have
great.
split it up, and we can also provide the permanent record, which goes into the details of how you're allowed to use each
That'd
of
be
the
awesome.
funds.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Is there anything else for our business administrator?
He's just gonna wait for the manifest and then,
I'm sorry.
that's all right.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Speak 2 minutes.
Actually, the one last thing, the CIP, I mean, was there any, just for reference and looking at, for our paving and what's coming up?
I think the board had asked for a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot that we could do, but that's up to the board to decide. I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean, in 2019, it looks like most of the stuff's covered except for the front paving for now, right? And if we're looking at 2021, that'll be next year's budget, right? Anyway. I mean, I guess I'd have to check, did we budget for paving the basketball court?
I don't recall you did.
I don't think we did. Right. So we may have to find money for that if we're still going to go forward with this plan. I'm sure we did budget for the computer replacements. And we probably didn't budget for the lowering the cafeteria ceiling either, I don't recall. Hearing that, so. Yeah, something to think about then. Okay. Unless there's anything else, we can move on to the principal's report. Ms. Young.
Good evening. Our report begins on page 36. We started off with a list of the very busy spring events. I would like to add sports awards. Spring sports awards will be held June 11th at 6 p.m. That was just finalized today. A recent fun event, we had a local author, Ralph Fletcher, visit the school on Monday, May 6th. He presented to 3 different groups of kids, did a short assembly with each of them, and then also met with the faculty during our staff meeting time at the end of the day and provided some professional development around the use of mentor texts. So I really want to thank the Literacy Committee and Jessica Carloni, our reading specialist in particular, for organizing that. And then as requested, we provided a breakdown of the costs for ALMA, the new student information system. So the initial startup fee that is due this year is $1,600, and we have much more, or $2,200 left in the remaining software line. So that will fund that, and then everything else comes out of next year's budget. ALMA will replace One Call Now and MMS, so the amount budgeted for those two will cover the cost. And then in terms of professional development, we had already budgeted about $3,000 for technology training, and then we have another $1,000 for in-service in the budget, so that will cover the training piece. If we need to supplement that with some Title II professional development funds, we can do that as well.
Record time.
With two signatures?
Yeah.
Somebody else gonna sign, or did I have two?
Good, I'm good. Ann Stroud Award nominations?
I'm sorry, what?
Ann Stroud Award nominations for graduation,
Oh, you know what? I was supposed to have those tonight. I'm sorry, I don't have those.
I think we have time.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
all
I
right,
was
just
supposed
a reminder
to-
then for our next meeting, if we could,
So on the agenda, I'll call that,
graduation award.
graduation award. Sure.
No, haven't heard that. I've never heard that.
Done it for years.
Tom Conway Award?
It was a citizenship type thing. He was the principal here for a number of years.
Yeah, we've done the Tom Conway Award.
It's the athletic award.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh,
Well,
so we do that?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Get in touch with him. If you have any background information, it's great to hear, because it's hard to find stuff sometimes.
because actually it started off as a citizenship, not as a sports. But Tom was very big in sports. So.
Does anybody have any other questions for our building administration?
Nope.
All happy? All right. Nice and easy, thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have something?
Nope.
No? Okay.
And I rest my case.
All right, we have a number of policies. Need a first reading.
Yeah, these are all D policies that support the grant assurances. You're in darn good shape compared to others. You got a lot of those.
So, Mr. Winslow did send an email about with some concerns or whatever. Did those get integrated into these readings, or is it just?
I did give them for editing, so hopefully they did.
So the big one is,
The big one is the big one, the
right,
DAF.
DAF. So why don't we do that by itself first? So I'll make a motion to move policy DAF to second reading.
Second.
Any discussion on this?
There are some minor grammar stuff that I'll take care of before the next.
Okay. So this is a new, brand new?
Yeah, this
policy?
is the policy you should, DAF,
Yes.
that's the policy you should have in place that support the grant assurances that I'm not going to sign off on until these policies are in place, and I don't think the board chair is either.
That's fine. This doesn't like replace something else? It's
No,
new,
you
so we've
didn't
never
have-
had it. We've never had it before, or?
Correct.
Okay. All in favor of moving this to second reading, then? All right, we'll bring that back at our next meeting for adoption. And then,
Sorry, look at the chart.
we have three smaller policies, policy DI, DID, and DJC.
Motion to bring those three policies, DI, DID, and DJC, to second reading?
So, I don't see policy DID.
I know, I didn't either.
Actually, so I think we're missing that.
All right, you can bring that back.
Yeah. So would you like to modify your
Modify my motion to DI and DJC.
DJC? Good. To move that to second reading. There's a second for that? Okay. Any discussion on that? It seems rather straightforward. Do we really not have any petty cash? I thought we did at one point for paying the referees.
No, that's student activities.
That's student activity fund, okay. I was confused with that.
So
Okay.
my feeling, so My feeling about petty cash, and I'm sure Mr. O'Sullivan would support that, is that it creates a liability.
Yeah.
And in the day and age of, we have other ways to pay for things rather quickly, I don't think you need it, and they don't use it anyway.
Okay.
So,
Adrian pays out of pocket.
That was my cross the guard statement. Joke's on you.
We'll put you back on crossing guard, Jim.
All in favor of moving policy DI and DJC to second reading? All right, so moved. All right, so passed. So we'll bring back, so these will come back for approval next meeting. We'll bring back,
bring in the other one.
we'll bring DID for first reading at our next meeting.
You might want to consider, you have the ability to approve after a first reading, you might want to consider for that one to approve it after your first reading.
Are you planning on being
If
here,
you-
are you planning on being here at the 30th, our goals meeting in the public hearing? If not, maybe we could just put it on the agenda for that, and we can
Just hold on.
have a mini little meeting after the public hearing to do that. I mean, you don't have to be here, I'm just saying, if we can, as long as we can get a packet, I guess that's all we need.
I can be here. It can be a long meeting. I can at least get the business done and then leave you to do goals. You know what I mean?
That'd be fine. Yeah.
So,
So when we do that, bring it back on that,
all
on
right,
the 30th.
hold on. All right, so I'm going to bring DID.
DID. So on the 30th, we'll have our public hearing,
Yeah.
policy DID, and then we'll do goals.
Yeah.
Our special meeting, our special meeting's turning into,
It is a special meeting.
grab bag
It is
of
not,
things.
it's no longer a work session, it is now a special meeting.
yeah. Special meeting and work session,
And public hearing.
and public hearing. Yay.
So, folks, I apologize if there's some mistakes in the packet. Ms. West had 4 board meetings to turn around all at the same time, so.
Well, literally 2 of them at the same time.
Right, we had joint board Monday night, we had a Stratford meeting, a Nottingham meeting, and tonight a Northwood meeting. So my it's just gonna, I think you know I like things to flow a little easier. So it's been exhausting, so.
Okay, is there any other comments or questions about policies before we move on? Happy with them? Next policy committee meeting
Should be right before your next board meeting, that's the email I sent.
on the 6th.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yep.
Right, we'll move on to the superintendent report then. Let's do it.
I have a personnel report on page 56. The, the stipends are informational.
Could you just tell me what Ed Design Studio Workshop is?
It's a competency-based education workshop.
Okay, so this is for attending the workshop. Okay. And the rest of these are summer ESY, summer school.
Yeah, and we had, after the lock-in, we needed to give some one-to-one support that wasn't anticipated.
Okay. Yep. And these are all budgeted for us. Thank you. Then you have a actual nomination for us? Or more
I
than
do,
one?
I'm going to nominate Susan Matlack as your 7th and 8th grade math teacher, master's degree, step 1, replacing Kim Clemens.
Yeah, we would need a motion to elect Ms. Matlack. So moved. Any discussion on that? You guys happy? All in favor of electing Ms. Matlack as our 7th, 8th grade math teacher?
This hiring process done pretty good.
Practice.
Yes? Yes for you? All right.
Oh, yeah, I saw his.
Okay, I did.
I saw his
Turning
name.
them, too.
Oh, I didn't see it. That's fine. I understand you have more nominations for us as
Yes,
well.
I'm going to nominate Catherine Calhoun as your 4th grade teacher, bachelor's degree, step 8. I'm going to do the other one, too.
Go for it.
And Colleen Keeley, art teacher, master's degree, step 4.
So moved?
Motion to elect?
So moved.
Give him the words, he'll
Right.
Who's seconded?
Second.
Second, Ms. Hanneman. Any discussions on these? budget-wise, these, I imagine these will fit right in.
Are we full staff yet?
Nope.
No?
But you're,
Close.
We're still looking for a first grade teacher and a curriculum.
yep.
Okay, all in favor of electing Ms. Calhoun and Ms. Keeley? Calhoun. Calhoun? I don't know if I said it right.
Cahoon.
All right, thank you. Motion carries.
Can I step check? You done?
What? That's Kowloon.
Okay.
Right, that's what it's in my head.
I'm hungry, leave me alone.
No, I am.
You're hungry again now. The place on Route 1, right?
Yeah. You know, it's all apartment buildings now? Condos.
Yep. It's changed.
Yes.
Dover Steakhouse? Nothing.
All right, moving on. After-school programs.
All right, so, I'm gonna offer an idea from another district.
Is there anything on that? Oh, right.
What?
After-school programs? That's.
No, I just wanted to give you a quick update. So, what I'd like to do is I have a presentation from one vendor, and the vendor has already presented the admin team. And I don't know how feasible that vendor is, because there's a certain number they need to meet, and I don't think I have most of that number between districts, but I don't have the whole thing. And the other district that was going to partner hasn't gotten back to me, so I'm just gonna send you a link to a presentation and let you view that on your own.
Sorry, can I unpack that a little bit?
You
So-
sure can.
So you have a potential vendor for after-school programs, but they have a minimum requirement of students, so you were planning on combining?
I was gonna see if, but it doesn't look,
Districts.
well, even like outside of our SAU, we would still have to find roughly 40 more kids, and the other district that was interested, it hasn't gotten back to me, and so I believe they're disinterested. So I'm just gonna send you a link to see what things look like.
Where would this be held?
Right. Would it be distributed?
No. So with this company, they want to come, they are all over the United States, but they're not in New Hampshire. So it requires them to hire like a regional manager, right? And then you would have a Northwood program, another program, and that person would oversee that. It's sort of a capacity issue.
Oh,
So to
so it'd
justify
be
that
like,
person
say if
coming
there's
to
30
me.
kids in Northwood, 40 kids in Nottingham, or
Right,
whatever.
right. So I don't know how feasible that is at this time, but I still want you to look at the information, because I think it's a good program, and I want you to see what's out there.
Is that the program you referred?
Yeah, that was
mentioned before?
Right.
Okay.
Now, I found a very similar program that I'm expecting to get literature on tomorrow. And I am going to bring that literature to your 5:30 meeting, just for you to have, just to get it to you.
But, okay.
All right?
Thought you were saying the time, 5:30. We don't meet at
No,
5:30.
no. But what
Tried
I'm
once to do
going to suggest is that in your June meeting, your first meeting in June, that I schedule any available person who's interested, ARC, rec if they're interested, champions if they're interested, to come in at 15-minute intervals and just do some quick presentations on what they offer. And I'm hoping that we have some, maybe some parents show up that use after-school care, or potentially before care, which I know is an issue. So they can sort of observe, what's out there.
You want to do that on the 6th,
Mm.
you said? Yeah.
So I already have champions scheduled for the 6th, because there's going to be another district on the 5th.
Scott, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
On the organization that you said you think is disinterested, possibly because of the numbers, are those numbers based on the kids we currently have in an after-school program?
Yeah, I have an
Or
estimate.
like where, you say you have to get like 40 more.
I need to get 120.
You need to get 120.
You get about 40. Another district has 40. Of course, they'd have to agree to the same thing, and then we'd have to find an outside district. So I just don't think logistically and capacity-wise that's going to work out. But I still think it's worth you looking at the presentation and the video and learning more about what kind of after-school programs are out there right now and what they're offering, because the other organization, Champions, is very similar. So it's just going to help you springboard. And then we can have the rec come in, we can have ARC come in, we can have anybody come in who wants to, and present, and then, you know, I've already told ARC, and they may or may not come.
Is it too soon to ask for a cost?
To you,
No,
there's no cost.
I know that, it's the parents' cost, but that's
That'll
a
be a
driving
big
force.
question.
Yeah, I think that'll be part of the presentation. He's working on the numbers right now. But generally, I would estimate and it's a swing, somewhere between $4 and $6 an hour, which is higher than what you pay.
Right now, it's what, $200?
I can't remember. I think it's a little more than that, like $165 for, it's done by the week or the days a week. And so I think they'll compete with that. I also think there's, with Champions, they're prepared for you to, charge them a building use, which they'll, but you can also be really creative and take that money that you would charge for building use and create a scholarship fund, right, for students in need. Additionally, they're licensed childcare providers in the state. So you have the potential for vouchers. If families have vouchers in need, they can process that. And actually, anybody can who wants to go for that licensure. So I just think it's information gathering. And I think that, before you didn't have a lot of options, now you have some options. And I think it's important for me to bring those options to you and provide you as many options as we can. Because if you think about it, spend about 1,000 hours in school, you spend about 5,000 hours at home a year, awake. What happens the rest of the time? And
Video games.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what I'd like to do, if that's okay, is schedule anybody, and if anybody's watching that's interested, get in touch with my office, we'll put you on the schedule, and we'll just have people come in 15 minutes at intervals, and we'll schedule them out and try to make it efficient, and then move from there.
Once we know who those presenters will be, is that something we can put out like on the social media and start advertising that?
Yeah, who's my
6-6
Facebook person? You?
You're talking to
We just met
It's
today.
Stephanie?
Yeah.
So-
Amy and I. So if we could start advertising for that, because I think if parents in the community know that we're looking into these changes, I think you're going to have an influx of some parents who are looking for change.
I would like parents here to watch these
So
presentations.
I would like, I'd like to get it out
You're scheduling for the 6th.
Yeah.
as soon as possible,
Schedule.
so we can advertise and kind of build it up, and people can also look into those organizations and come prepared with questions.
Right. I mean, we'll probably have that list, I would say, a week before the meeting when the packet goes out, and we can provide it then. I'll give you a week. That'll save me a step, too.
Do you think that's enough time? Or can we
Yeah,
can we
early-
broadly
well, earlier the
advertise
better.
it and then a week out put who they are?
Right now, I only have one vendor who's told me they're interested in the presenting. I gotta wait it's gonna take me a while to get a list
Yeah.
of who's interested. I know there's some other interest there.
Okay.
But I haven't heard directly yet. So, as soon as I know, I can get you a schedule.
Okay.
All right?
But try to maybe put your ear to the ground and find out how many people are coming to, because if it's more than will fit comfortably here, we might want to move the meeting to the cafeteria or something like that, so chairs. So
That might be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean,
It's hard to know.
right, I mean, yeah, just, if it's starting to feel like a lot of people are gonna be showing up, just maybe get in touch with me and.
Well, we can make it
That's true.
an
make
event, and then we'll have an idea.
Account, yeah. So,
That's
yeah,
why I was
they'll-
thinking if we advertise broadly that we're gonna be entertaining this discussion, and then, like you said, a week out, give the names.
I'd say,
That gives people an opportunity.
I'd say
to-
go for it, because I mean, if something falls through and we can't get people here on that day, then we can cancel it. It's not a huge deal. I'd much rather have the time to get people interested and aware of it. 'cause,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do have him coming on the 6th, one of them, so.
Yeah.
and-
So you mentioned.
Because I have him scheduled the night before at another. It's coming from Matt, but, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You had mentioned sending us a video on one of them.
Yep, actually, the videos, have you seen the video? If you go to rightatschool.com,
Oh, yeah. What is it, right?
Right at School, There's a video link right there that shows all about their programming, and that's the presentation I'm going to send you to.
And if you go in and you type in, and you look at, it will let you look at other schools and what they actually pay. So you can get kind of an idea, and that you're gonna have to try to find an area that has like a similar kind
Yeah.
of,
And you can read some testimonials. and
yeah,
this and that.
yeah. You get like an idea of how they charge and whatever. I looked at it.
Well, I was just gonna, I mean, that's all fine, and I look forward to seeing that, but I just want to say, if you're gonna send us out any videos or links to things like that, could you post those on the website so that they're public as well? And like that goes for maybe the competency
Yeah, that's
presentations and
that's one
stuff
of our questions, actually.
So post on which website?
on the SAU, or whatever, either, just somewhere public so that we don't have to worry about any RSA, any right to know type stuff, right? If it's all public, just put it there. I just don't want you to send out emails to us with these videos or links to videos and us not have a way of, public not having a way of seeing that. Because it's all public information at that point, of course. Not a big deal, but we should be careful. We should be careful with our use of email, right? So.
You do, but in that case, if there's a right to know request, I'm just going to fulfill it, and there's nothing in those emails.
No, I understand.
Here's
Yeah.
the link.
Right,
So,
right.
The other thing we can do, Mr. Royo, is if we want to get an idea of who might come, I can quickly create a sign-up genius to give you the link to put on the Facebook page, and then
That'd be
people can RSVP, and then you know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then you know. So I'll try to get that out.
Okay.
I will try to get that piece out Monday. I don't know who's going to be here schedule-wise, but we can at least say, the meeting starts at 6:30 and your presentation starts at 6:45, and then we can update that as we go.
Yeah.
And then that'll give us an idea of what we need for space and this and that. I think that way you're getting the experience of what's out there, and they're getting the experience of what's out there, and then the board can make some sort of decision. All right?
That's good.
Let me just finish my notes here.
Okay. While you're writing, anything else on the after-school program stuff? Are we all set with that?
It'll be in the posting, Gary. You get those, right?
From the SAU?
Yeah.
Yes.
The next thing I have for you is just an FYI that I couldn't put in your packet because it would have printed in black and white and you wouldn't have been able to do much with it. But you don't need to approve this. It's just your meeting schedule for next year.
Take one for,
Yep.
thank you.
Did you get one?
I thought it was in the packet.
Yeah, it is.
Might be a black and white copy, but you probably can't read it.
Well, I've never seen that in the packet, but.
Yeah, it's just a different format. It's a different format of the packet. I gave you an actual calendar.
Oh, okay, all right.
I like it.
Yeah.
I know.
It's color coded.
Well, it helps me too.
Love it.
Like,
Very visual.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna give you.
I don't know why we're not yellow.
I don't know, Northwood should be green, I
no.
think, if anything, not yellow, not red. Right?
It's right
It's a little blue, actually, that way.
yeah, but Nottingham's green, Stratford's blue, you're blue, somebody's got to choose, sorry.
Yeah,
We're killers.
Red
We're red.
stands out. So
that's true, the red does stand out.
Northwood seems to first, right?
The reason why they're not.
Let's change the school name, too.
So the interesting dates I find, I think we're gonna.
Oh, don't
rush
change them
here.
now, please.
No, not changing, I'm just pointing out the fifth Thursdays, right? So like we have one in August and January, April, right? So those are the times we traditionally will have, not traditionally, sometimes we'll have our work sessions and stuff like that, so we have things coming up. Those are convenient dates to have them on.
Yeah, the other good news is those months, if you're in a 2-week pay cycle, you get an extra paycheck usually, so.
Every little bit.
Okay. I lost my pen. I found my pen. Does anybody have any questions for the superintendent? Are you all done?
Yep.
No questions? All right, we will move on to our new business. We do have a sign update. Sort of.
think some of you know I spent a lot of time on this, and I don't know how successful I've been. I've learned a lot about signs in the past month. I've learned a lot about setbacks, and I've also learned that when you call the state to find out where the setbacks are, they send you to the region, and the region doesn't have the answer, and then you need to send somebody out into the middle of the road to measure from the center line. Whoever did that, Ms. Young, thank you.
There may have been an Adrian in the song.
I did tell her if she needed support from the police to please feel free to call.
I do think Adam Gavone was here for there.
No, it's okay. I'll make a copy.
Actually, I'll give you mine when I'm done.
Okay.
So I reached out to Barlow, I reached out to another sign company. The other sign company, we weren't able to connect, although we tried multiple times. Barlow is who did the sign at Co-Brown. I gave you a masonry option and a non-masonry option. I do believe that if you do choose to do a sign, you're probably going to have to go with a non-masonry option, because I believe that the masonry will stick out 4 inches, and that will bring you into the right-of-way. You're 33 feet, 4 inches from the center line. Is that correct? Verified by the building administration.
Can't we just move the sign to the right?
A scotch?
That might be in the parking lot.
At this point,
You don't want, you don't
I
want a
feel
car
like,
hitting it.
at this point, I feel like I need to turn this over to the facilities committee, and the facilities committee has to do some work. I think we need to take a look at other sign companies. I think that this is a nice option, and in color, it looks beautiful. But it's certainly not cheap. And if you see in the contract, there's some other fees that they have to do that. If we can avoid those other fees by having facilities do it or some contractors do it, I think that's going to save you a little bit of money. But your base sign, they give you a couple different options. But there's certainly, I would expect with technology that the prices come down over time, and it doesn't appear that they have. So.
Doesn't look like this doesn't include sign permits, electrical permits
Correct.
either, so that'd be additional.
Correct. And there's some rules we need to pay attention to, like, with a lighted sign, we have to make sure that we're not advertising anything other than parent nights or this and that, or else you're in violation of the sign. There's all sorts of complicated rules here. I would also recommend that while we did a preliminary glance at the setbacks, that we may want to hire a surveyor to make sure those right-of-ways are accurate, based off wherever the markers are, that I wasn't really going to get a metal detector and go into the woods and look for. I think this is a complicated process, much more complicated than I think anybody really anticipated.
We'll take care of it.
Now, is the complication due to it being an electronic sign, or, I mean, there's
No,
a
I
sign
think it has to
there.
do with right-of-way, it has to do with where you put it.
So no matter what
It has
the
to do
sign
with
is.
permitting, it has
So
to
we
do
have
with
to have
surveying, it
it
has to do.
inspected and all that when it's done? Or will we just,
Sorry?
will we have to have it like inspected and approved when it's done?
Sure.
And to make sure
I'm
it's
sure if
legit, or
there's
are
a
we just
problem,
kind of
you're gonna
waiting?
know about it, and the last thing you wanna do is remove it.
Right.
So,
Be like a house.
I think that, facilities, the business administrator, the facilities director, possibly some legal consultation, I think you got some costs there. Permitting,
So.
I don't know if it's a 100 amp running or a 200 amp running out there, I don't know what the,
Jeez, that'd be a very long time.
what?
That'd be a lot for a sign.
I know it would. It's just it looks to me like it's a basic underground
Yeah.
circuit, but is that circuit going to be able to handle, it should, it's LED, but, I don't feel comfortable making guesses on potentially a $60,000 or $70,000 expense. But
So if the sign were to fit in the footprint of the existing sign, that would be,
we could make
Okay,
the
right.
assumption, well,
one would think.
Like time.
one would think logically that when that sign was put in, that all the work that I'm seeing was done.
Right.
I have no guarantee that that's
Because we're talking about repaving the front, right?
right.
Right. So
Yeah, you gotta worry about setbacks.
Well, Mr. Sayers might know something, but
Yeah.
this hasn't gone to
Question.
Facilities Committee.
So right now, and I can't, is there lighting or is there electrical
Yes.
out there
Yep.
already? So we
Yep.
wouldn't be tearing up the driveway after we pave it, right?
Well,
as long as there's
no,
enough power going out there.
That's
if there's
what I-
enough power, you just hook right into it.
Okay. So that's a consideration.
So you
We might
wanna
wanna
coordinate that?
Coordinate with the paving.
So you wouldn't tear it up anyways, it would probably be, there's probably a pipe down there, so you would just snake it. So if the pipe is there, you'll snake it.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know when that sign was put in, so I don't know if we were,
I knew that.
I don't know if construction-wise, we were using underground conduit at that point, or
Right.
we were just
Right, so
doing
there's no-
outdoor,
Right, if it's not conduit, you can't sneak it.
Right.
unless it's
Yeah,
conduit.
yeah, I'm pretty sure
I
they
guess
use the
those are-
pipe.
I can't imagine that they would have run
so
wire under
I think these are, I
There's
think
there's
that,
there's
I
outgrade,
think the-
outside grade wire that they can do.
Yeah.
I think the full Facilities Committee needs to meet and tackle this,
Yeah.
to make it feasible.
Complicated.
So, you've been looking into other signs, I mean, this is like a rather high-end sign. Are there other options for something that's,
I haven't heard back from anybody else that I've reached out to. I mean, you can get another illuminated sign,
I'll do some digging.
take a look at that. But the direction that I got is they, to look at a sign like Co-Brown's.
Is this the same company that provided
Yes,
those?
it is,
Okay.
yep. And they got higher reviews from Co-Brown too.
Yeah, no, it's nice. I love it.
Super nice.
But it's
Very-
changed. This would be, technology has probably come
Oh, sure.
away, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
4K.
I think it is, actually.
see, I'd be happy with something that's even just words that can go, red lettering on words. I
Right,
mean,
like
it's
a
all.
ticker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
a sign like that, something where you don't need to go play with the letters and stuff.
Bigger,
but
go home, man.
I don't really think we need a full,
This is why. the
graphical
Facilities
display.
Committee-
But what is the difference in price for a?
Well, that's what I'd like to know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like, is
You
it
want
half-
like
that close.
tiers of options, maybe?
So
Right,
I
right.
could give you an idea. So that sign that he didn't pay for, he actually got a steal on it. The one that Brian Gardner has out in front of J&B Auto, that's 25 grand for that little rectangle. So now you're looking at for what we're getting for 40 to 50.
Right, but again, that's something that does full graphics and stuff like that.
It
Whereas,
does the full graphics.
right, I mean,
A little
letters
choppy, but
are good enough for now, for us, I would think. I don't know that we need flashy graphics on Route 4, anyway.
It's gonna be there for a while.
Enroll it and go up.
So, Brian Mr. Winslow did send me some feedback on this, and he was kind of leaning against any sign work with the idea that that money could probably be better used to do like landscaping in front if we're looking for better curb appeal. So
We
I
just did
wanted-
the landscaping in the front.
well,
That's
what-
pretty good.
so the biggest thing
Exactly.
that at the
So I
sign
just want to
is,
throw that out
Yeah.
there, so because
right, advertising for meetings, right? And that
Yep.
for school board meetings.
And it can cycle
events.
and change, and we can add as.
It's not there, sporting events, you could flash sporting events, you could get probably more attendance. I mean, it's a lot more than just, just for curb appeal. It's for
Yeah, it's
notification.
more communication than curb appeal, I think, honestly.
Yeah, communication is important, I totally agree. I'd like to see something a little lower end and just see if that's out there. If it's not out there, it's not
Has
out
to be
there.
a
It's
range.
for morale booster too, because when the Lakers win a basketball championship, or they have their name and on there, so. Yeah.
So, yeah, how do we seek out more
I
information?
can go talk to the building inspector, and I talked to Tom too, and look at the old plans. When they put on the new addition, they had to have this land surveyed. So they will find out where the setbacks
Survey
are.
work may be done.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we can find out, it was probably Brown Engineering which is now New Hampshire Land, someone, that's all. But yeah, so do some digging.
So are there no additional estimates forthcoming?
I've reached out to EBSCO, but I haven't heard back yet.
Is this the only offering that Barlow does? I imagine they must.
No, they do all sorts of stuff.
So, I mean, this one is like basically Co-Brown stuff. That's what we got. I personally just be interested in seeing other possibilities.
Yeah, I'm down for whatever. I think the biggest thing is not,
Absolutely.
we can pick what sign we want
Bottom could be landscape.
in the future,
How
but the
much
thing
is
is,
the
we just
difference in
we
price?
need answers first. Setbacks, electrical.
We also gotta think about where the money's gonna come from to pay for this too. I mean, like, I think we first brought this up thinking we had surplus money and that might be a possibility, possible use of that. I'm guessing that we wouldn't be able to get this project moving fast enough to use that at this year. And I don't think it's as much as we thought in the surplus with the amount that we're gonna be reserving and the amount. Were you there for that meeting when we had that? So like of the 550,000
Some
surplus.
Vista co-brown tuition that's going back to the
Right,
town.
like 350 or so was all that stuff, special ed and co-brown
Yeah,
tuition.
and then you got your 2.5.
And then we've got our 2.5 retention, which basically uses the rest of it, right? And so it was unclear to me that we had the money in our surplus to do this project right now anyway. However, maybe at our next meeting, when we get the capital reserve fund balances, we could take a look at those too and see what the deal is.
Yeah, I think this is a longer-term committee work.
Yeah.
And building level work that needs to be done. I enjoyed this. I learned a lot, but there's probably more appropriate uses of my time
Yeah.
than learning about how to construct a sign. So there's some committee work that needs to be done here. And, who you can reach out to Barlow, and then there's other places that you can reach out to, and hopefully,
Yeah, I mean, getting the information is definitely a good thing. We'll get all the information, then we can decide what we're doing with it. whether
Right,
we're-
and I think it's a long-term information
Yeah.
gathering. I don't think this is a couple meetings.
I'll have it to you by next week.
Right.
All right, so are we gonna just plant this in the hands of the facilities committee?
Yeah.
To get us more information on this?
Because that's what I wrote in the minutes.
Good. Okay, are we good with this for now then? All good? All right. Retirement donation, there was a request for,
We are still in negotiations, but I think we would like to request $200 if that is okay.
okay, and this is, what would that,
To help defer the cost of the meals for the 2 retirees and their spouses and cake and,
for the retirement party?
yeah, and to go towards the party.
All right, I think that sounds very reasonable. Is there any, anyone want to make a motion to donate?
Just
$200?
200?
Well, that was the request they made. There are other things I think that we should talk about as well. But, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I'll make a motion to donate $200, up to $200, to defer the request for the meals and stuff as requested by Ms. Bullard.
Second?
Any discussion on that? All in favor? All right. That'll come out of our school board expenses, I
Yeah,
assume.
we'll identify a school board line.
Thank you.
Do you have a date
We're thinking the 19th.
of June?
Yeah.
What day is good for them, where they don't have a field there, field trip, so we're not tired.
I'm trying to figure out how to do this logistically.
I think that'd be on Wednesday.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
So somebody would have to pay and then get me a receipt quickly.
Right, 'cause that's,
I could close the books.
Okay.
Yeah. Or get Jocelyn a receipt and we'll process it as soon as we can. So if somebody could do that, that would be good.
the 19th is Juneteenth on my calendar.
Is that a thing?
I've
The
never heard of
21st,
Juneteenth before.
the 21st is a Friday.
Yeah, Juneteenth. No idea what that means. Oh, did you see that as well? Oh, really?
Really? Yeah.
That's really strange. I'll have to go look that up.
Oh. Can't tell. We don't look a day over Thursday.
Staff proposal. So,
Page 107.
so in our packet, we have a request from Teachers Union?
No, Paris.
Paras Union, both, one or the other?
You've already done the teacher. No, this one's teachers.
This
Yep.
was the teachers. I don't believe we did one for Paris, did we?
No, that's coming. It just didn't make this packet.
I'd be interested to hear the administration's thoughts on this.
I'm in support of it. I think it's a effective use of their time. I am in support of it. I think it's an effective use of their time. I think it's a more effective use of their time than forcing them to come back on June 24th would be.
Okay.
Anything for you, Gary?
So,
Very generous of you.
I'll go ahead and make the motion for discussion purposes, at least, of approving the professional staff to have a professional development time after their early release on the last student day, with the additional time to be completed independently. Do you have a copy of this request?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Sorry, I probably should have done that before asking.
It's a good use of their
Yeah, I
time.
think
I do.
What's independent professional development? What would that consist of?
So every teacher has a 3-year plan that has overarching goals, and I think that they would then self-select things that would contribute towards the completion of those goals. That would all be entered into our professional development management system. It would need to be approved by the professional development representative and also approved by me.
And then finally approved by me.
Sorry, excuse me. Any other questions, discussion?
No, so they would just complete those 4 hours before the 21st? Yeah, so between now and then. Yeah, seems reasonable.
All right, all in favor? Yeah, motion carries. Would we like to, in anticipation of the paraprofessionals asking the same thing, move on the same, or is that a different?
You want me to
issue?
read you? So I get this in the 10th, so that isn't time for me to get into your packet. So I can certainly read the request
Yeah.
if you'd like me to.
Sure.
Go for it.
Recognizing the school board has approved June 21st, 2019 as the last day of school for students, the Northwood support personnel would like to make the
It's like the same
following
thing.
proposals to fulfill the paraeducators' collective bargaining agreement for the 2018-2019 school year. Students will be released Friday at 12:35. We would like paraeducators to have professional development time from 12:35 to 2:40, 2 hours and 5 minutes. Additionally, paraprofessionals will complete 4 hours and 40 minutes of independent professional development that aligns with our professional development master plan. A certificate of attendance will be provided to the principal by June 21st, 2019. Paraeducators will be allowed to use either one of their accrued personal days or sick days instead of professional development time. Time off request would be submitted by June 1st, allowing paraeducators to complete the last professional day independently or using one of their days in lieu of returning to school on Monday, June 24th. Will allow those who have summer positions time to prepare to begin their jobs.
That sounds very similar, except for the whole using a personal day instead of professional development, right? That's, are there any concerns with that?
I don't think Jocelyn's seen this one yet.
No, I have.
Oh, you have? Okay, good. Perfect.
Seen everything.
Didn't show up in the email.
So no.
Really up to-
No concerns with that. I mean, it seems to be professional, at first glance, my thought would be professional development is important and should be done, and not be, have a day off instead, but.
So I support the request for professional development. I will say that functionally, there's nothing prohibiting them from using a sick day on the 24th if that's what they want to do. There is some language in there that they couldn't use a personal day to extend a vacation or a break, but there's nothing prohibiting them from using a sick day anyway.
So it can happen on any professional
So
development day or
I think
whatever.
this is actually a courtesy because it allows us to plan effectively. So if we know that they're not going to be here on the 24th, that's doing me a favor because then I don't have to plan something on the 24th. It would be very sad for me to plan a lot and then have everybody call in sick that day. So I'm fine with it, and I think the people who use that will use that because they've already done a fair amount of professional development this year, and the people who want to further pursue professional development will do that accordingly. So I trust the staff to use the time wisely.
Okay, thanks. Does the board want to move on this tonight?
I'm fine with that.
I'll entertain a motion. Would you like to?
Motion to approve the para agreement of using professional development on the 21st.
Any further discussion? All in favor? All right. Request is approved.
Did we approve both?
We did.
Okay, just checking.
All right, that's all the new business we have. Do we have any committee reports?
Safety, met, but it's secret squirrely stuff, so.
All right, fair enough.
Evie and I met today regarding the communication committee and just started talking quickly about what was done in the past for newsletters regarding the school board, that there've really only been 2. So we're gonna look at starting that, but probably not doing one until the fall. So we're gonna work on primarily getting information out through the social media around the curriculum. Once we have goals and strategic planning, safety, anything policy related, now the aftercare presentations as well. Trying to increase the Facebook presence in traffic to get more communication out there and more just transparency. So we got the administrator approvals today. Did you get one too?
Yeah.
I did. So we'll start looking at that in the next week or so to
Great.
start getting some stuff out there. And
Cool. Thank you.
getting that out there.
We did have a technology committee meeting. We're still continuing to work on the 3-year technology plan for submission to the state. Kind of retooling it, I think, from what it was last year, trying to make it, we're looking at other technology plans from other districts to see if it, for us to maybe pare down some stuff and throw that in there. So that's ongoing work. We'll be continuing. Anything I missed from that? Any other committees? All right. On to old business, Blizzard bags. I'm not sure where we left that. I think
We're going to see how the
We're gonna
staff felt about it.
Right. I think
Parent feedback.
parent feedback and experiences from Rochester, Mr. Burns is going to bring
Yeah.
us. So I suspect since he's not here tonight,
Right,
Maybe
we'll
we
have him
should
do
do
that at
that.
the next meeting.
yeah.
I can provide a little update on the staff feedback. Linda and Sharon kindly put this out to staff at a union meeting, and it was very hard for staff to provide any feedback with so many questions, and that was really what the feedback form ended up being, was question after question after question. So the suggestion was made that we really should probably draft a proposal of what Blizzard bags would look like here before we ask for feedback from parents or staff again. I don't know where that work should reside, whether that's a school board work or staff work or a joint effort, but that's where we're
I
at.
think from what Mr. Burns said, it's, the teachers definitely have a huge input into what they want it to be. So I don't think it would come only from us.
I mean, it's a joint work, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So I make a recommendation, someone look into Barnstead's. I've heard rave reviews that Barnstead's is really, really good. And they use this app called, I think it's called One Connect, or something. And it allows the teacher to be, the kids to connect through the app with the teacher. Instead of like by email or something like that, it's through the app. So,
I got it.
Another thing we might want to do is, at some point, and it's probably too early right now, but schedule perhaps a public hearing on this as well. I mean, to get feedback from the community ourselves. But let's just keep that on our agenda then, and we'll keep bringing forward some
Nate,
information.
bring some more information, we'll see if we can get the Barnstead information for you for the next.
Yep, that'd be good.
Okay.
And, all right. On that, we are on to our parking lot. School board newsletter, we just got an update on. School safety, we will be getting a soon update on that from the grant, right? What does that know?
His resignation.
Whose?
Steve's.
No, we did not. So let's. All right, let's just get through this and we'll come back.
Yeah.
So we missed
See?
something, sorry.
So it's not there.
oh, I got a question.
Well, you can finish the parking lot.
Oh, yeah, okay. Strategic plan, blizzard bags, I mean, we pretty much have everything. You know, we'll do our goal setting next week, so I think our parking lot our parking lot list is fine unless we want to add anything to it. Do we want to add the sign to this or something like that, or
I would probably put the sign on it.
Yeah.
would that make sense to do?
Yeah.
So that would,
You got a time frame?
I mean, it's probably not going to be soon, so, right?
Fall?
Yeah,
2019,
fall, yeah.
next week.
I got it. Trust me, it's not going to be that fast.
Right. Well, and that'll be a discussion, right, or whatever still.
Information, I put.
Information, yeah, that's fine. Ms. Wells, what was your?
How's our accreditation going?
The NEASC update?
Yeah.
Self-study committees continue to work on that. We're going to spend some time during our after-school time on Monday, the 20th, and then staff will also spend some time on the 24th. So we're still in the phase of collecting evidence to support what we wrote in the application and then revising the narrative.
Okay, cool. Just haven't heard from
You have a big cameo in there, so get ready.
Yeah, nice. We'll definitely be accredited then.
You and the sign.
Driving the tractor?
Yeah, if you want. That tickles your fancy.
Done, which I don't want to do.
Yeah, but just a resignation.
Because the red ribbon. If people with questions.
We drive into the ribbon and the tractor.
I want cake too. Like,
Cowboy hat on.
a unicorn somewhere in there somehow.
Say that they're looking to.
We have a plan to address the technology needs
All right.
for the rest of the year. How's that?
Sure. All right, there was something missing from the superintendent's report and his personnel report, so we're going to circle back to that. In case anyone has an issue. Unless anyone has an issue, no. All right.
We need the board to accept the resignation of Stephen Robert.
You usually do these.
So, yeah, okay. Well, I will make a motion that the board accepts the resignation of Mr. Robert with regret.
Second.
As of, you want to say the date? Or is it?
His last day will be May 17th.
Any discussion? All in favor? Anything you want to add?
I want the school community and the community to know that I have a plan to address the technology needs for the remainder of the school year. So be assured of that. And that's about it for now.
Anything else? That's it for the personnel?
No, sir.
Okay. Getting back on our school board timeline. What month is it? May. So I remember our last meeting, we looked through May, and I think we had ticked all of the boxes already. And since nothing new got added on here, I suspect we're still in good shape here. Looking forward to June. I mean, we have an early meeting in June, so we can address that then, I suppose, but worth looking at the June, let's see, proposed class sizes, hiring needs, we're doing that now. Support staff, no later than July 1st of new
That
assignments.
actually needs to be corrected.
Okay.
Per their contract, they need to be notified of their tentative assignments by June 1st, so that could move to May and be changed to June.
Definitely should be then. Yeah.
And that is 93% done already.
93, huh?
It is an estimate, I would have to go back and actually see how close I am.
Decimal in there.
May.
To May, then we label as June. Summer curriculum, work and notifications going on, plans for summer maintenance, I think we're already on track for that. Summer school employees we've already seen. Nominations for fall coaching and club positions next month. Seems a little early, but.
Presumably, fall coaching positions have been posted. Clubs are in the works.
Okay. Exit interviews, that's something we did last year, and I think we probably plan on doing that again for the staff that's leaving, if we give them an opportunity to go meet with the board and have a discussion. So we'll maybe plan that on our next meeting. or maybe even after that, when school ends, is when we want to do it. Could we maybe get a list of the staff that are leaving so that we can contact them? And bus routes for the following year.
We can remove review caveat bus stop, because
Yeah.
Dale already did that and
Yeah.
said negative.
They said just no.
No.
Has there been, well, it's close to the end of the year now, but any update on our getting a driver back for reestablishing that route? Or is it 5 weeks left, we're just riding it out?
I'll get you an update.
Okay.
So I got a question on the projected class size. We discussed a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, of using the money to add a extra teacher, either in the second grade. Is that still in the works, or what's?
My guidance was that if we could stay within budget for salary and benefits, we could do that, but I won't know if we are done with that until
Until we
we've done
hire.
all of the hiring.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm a thinker.
Something for the timeline?
Do you know that your graduation is the same night as your second board meeting?
Yes.
We did that last year,
That was
too.
last year.
And it was a kind of a quick meeting.
Yeah, that's what we did last year.
Right.
And
So what, graduation's at 6 o'clock?
Yep.
What's your availability, what's everybody's availability on a Thursday of that day? Because maybe we could have a time box meeting from 5 to 6, or something like that.
Yeah, I could do that.
Would you guys?
About these two.
Oh, yeah, right, obviously, yeah.
And actually, I won't be here anyway. I'll be in New Jersey, so.
So you're gone no matter what. All right, I think I can do 5.
I can do 5.
You guys could do 5. Brian may or may not be able to do 5, but we can, if we have business to do, we'll try to obviously do nothing as little as possible in that meeting.
So I'm going to change this to 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll do 5 to 6 and yeah, I think we'll have to.
I think that's what we did last year.
I think it is, yeah. I don't know why people start scheduling stuff on top of our meetings again.
So.
You got out of them?
Well,
Changing time.
Go home early.
Instead of having 6:30.
yeah.
Instead of
Change that
6:30,
to 5 to 6.
it'll be like 5 to 6 at our
Okay,
regular board
make
meeting.
that change.
5 to 6
What
with a
happened if we
hard,
had blizzard backs?
with a hard stop at 6 o'clock. Sorry, we jumped ahead a little bit, but future agenda items. So on our June 6th, we have our food service contract coming back, graduation award nominations, hopefully, after-school care presentations, and maybe more information coming back on blizzard bags. That's our agenda for June 6th.
Review, well, it's always on there, but the review the goals.
Well, I think
do that
on
on the
the
30th.
30th, we're going to do the
We'll do that on
goals.
the 30th.
Right, so sorry, I jumped ahead to our next regular scheduled meeting. So our next regular scheduled meeting, we have food service contract, graduation award nominations, which may be non-public. After-school care presentations, blizzard bags. Was there something else?
Maybe that's what I have.
That's what, okay. For May 30th, our agenda will be a public hearing to accept unanticipated funds. Policy DID, first reading. And then we will have a work session to try to finalize our goals.
There is one more thing. Hold on. Update on driver.
Update on driver, that can happen in either of those. Well, I guess,
I'll put it in the second one.
yeah, update on bus driver.
With 6.
And then 6:20,
I think that's what.
I'm gonna need a data security plan to read that to the board.
Oh, what?
I'll talk to my tech director tomorrow.
Yeah. You better get to work. You need HB 1612, conditions of HB
She's
1612.
due by July 1st.
They've been working on it.
Yeah.
They've been working on it.
Is there anything,
By July 1st, right?
Although we don't know what the consequence is, but yes, that's what we're gonna shoot for.
is there anything anybody wants to add to the agenda that we haven't,
Well, let's add more.
typically,
And then if I can
except
just,
for Mr. Wells, he has no vote on this.
and then while we're doing scheduling, if I can add one more thing when you're
Yeah.
ready. Just to, I'll send an email out eventually, but I leave for vacation on the 21st of June. So, Mr. Byrne will be covering me until right after July 4th. So if you need anything.
I don't think you miss any of our meetings.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't miss any meetings. So squeeze it in while I can.
Right.
And I will not be, I will be in Europe and I won't have any ability other than Wi-Fi.
Oh, I'm gonna text him all day.
$10 a day.
I
No.
know it is. But it can be helpful.
No, to
Is
you,
there
not to
any-
me.
Facebook Messenger or something?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Is there any closing public comment?
We gave her a list. I meant to say this earlier. Thank you guys for the breakfast on Monday and Tuesday and pastries. It was greatly appreciated by everybody. We had a great teacher appreciation week, and Adrian and Jocelyn spoiled us all week with little gifts.
Good.
So thank you for that. And not to complicate your calendar, June 6th, we also have on our schedule the informal meeting with the board as well.
Okay.
Before that meeting, so 5:45.
Did, that happened recently too, right? I wasn't at the last one.
We did one in March.
They did them quarterly.
What do we do,
Yeah.
December? Yeah, it's quarterly, so this is the last
It's,
one.
meet with the representatives.
You won't be here?
The 6th?
The
Yeah,
6th?
June
No,
6th.
6th I'll be here.
The 20th you won't be.
Oh, 20, all right. Would you be interested in doing that or available?
6th.
Or who would be? I'm just, I don't,
Trying to-
didn't mean to call you out on that. Anyone?
Mr. Winslow.
Something
We
like
could,
that.
we'll volunteer Mr. Winslow for that. I think he did last time though, too.
I did it with him, I
Okay.
think.
Do you guys want to just continue that, you think, or would you like to? Yeah.
That's fine.
All right.
I like you guys.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's put that in your calendar then.
Okay.
Thank you.
I gotta put that in there. We'll forget.
Any other public comment?
Okay.
No? Any board members want to take this opportunity to address the board? No? Yes?
Oh, we had their graduation.
That's right, I was there.
We had lovely cake.
It was a good looking
When
cake.
was it here?
That was the Thursday. Yesterday.
That's
No, it was
today.
yesterday.
No, it wasn't, it was
Yes,
Tuesday.
wasn't Thursday.
It was Tuesday.
Yesterday.
Today's
It
Thursday.
was
Today's
yesterday.
Thursday.
It was,
Tuesday.
it was yesterday.
It was Wednesday,
At
yeah.
1:15.
It was yesterday?
It was.
Oh, so much has happened.
You've been up all night.
Yeah, it was yesterday at 1:15.
I was here too.
I didn't have any cake either. It was so good. And, yeah, so it was good.
So is the dear graduate, is that still 6th grade?
So, yeah, we do 6th grade now instead of 5th. We bumped it up.
I'm trying to remember from back when my kids were doing
Okay, not seeing any more public comment. We're going to close that. We do have need for another non-public session at the end here under RSA 91-A:32C. I believe only C this time. I will move that we go into non-public under that statute. Is there a second? Second?
Second.
Second. Roll call in, Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Mr. Morgan is yes. Ms. Arroyo?
Yes.
And Ms. Hanover? Yes. We are non-public.